bad trade paperback flocking to the
I'm joined by the amazing Allison O'Toole, Dan Price, Andre Owen, Fred Kennedy, Chip Zdarsky. Chip, thanks for coming. What's up, folks? I'm your host, Konrad, on Wednesday Night Reviews, and tonight we are joined by Nate of Night of the Chihuahuas. Nate, thanks for coming on the show.
Right on. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, Nate, I start all of these interviews the exact same way. So for the folks at home who've maybe never seen your face, never heard your name, who is Nate?
I am an indie publisher based out of Phoenix, Arizona. Our publishing company is Pork Chop Express. If you know the reference from the movie Big Trouble in Little China. Do you know it?
I'm loosely familiar. I haven't seen the movie in a while.
It's Kurt Russell's trucking company. So it's
exactly.
Yeah. So it's just our kind of our silly ploy at keeping that kind of fun going on and making comics. So, I don't know. That's me in a nutshell.
I dig it. Well, you know what? Movie references seems like a good place to start. At the same time, we've got a wonderful comment from one Dan Price. Konrad,
Yay.
Nate. Hello, Dan.
Dan, Bigfoot knows karate.
Absolutely. So, Nate, we are here to talk about your book, Night of the Chihuahuas, which already, I'm going to bring up the Kickstarter page, already is doing fabulously. You have 23 days to go. You have a total of currently 34 backers, and the currency here is Canadian. I know the figures get thrown off. So you've got 2,731 Canadian of a goal of 1,339. So you're actually double past your goal. Now, for the folks who've maybe never seen this book before, who are tuning in live, who maybe catch this after the stream, the Kickstarter that you're running today for Night of the Chihuahuas, it is issues 1 through 5, the whole series, correct?
Yes, the first story arc.
Awesome. And I guess as you're coming to the end of the first story arc, you've done, and you guys have had a number of these now. I'll start with the happy, the good. How does it feel to see that figure up there? People clearly like your book.
Well, it's good. I mean, we've had a lot of positive response, and this was just a discussion the other day. The number that you see and the number we take home are actually vastly different. So the cost of printing, the Kickstarter fees. It's nice to be able to make some money, but to make an independent comic book is a little more expensive than that. So it's great to have the support, the backers. We've had some return backers. One of them is our super fan. We actually had a tier made specifically for him. Wayne, we love you, Wayne. Wayne is actually going to cosplay one of our characters at Phoenix Fan Fusion. We just, I mean, it's the overall thing is it's well received. It's fun, it's campy, horror comedy, and we're just hoping to continue to make more books. There's a whole second arc called Chihuahuas from Hell, and we have some other projects we're working on, and that's the goal is just to continue to make fun stuff. So
I dig it. That is the perfect explanation of what this series is. Fun, campy. It's just that, and I love it. I definitely appreciate, like we were sort of talking before we went live, how self-referential, how unseriously this takes itself. As well as sort of playing with tropes by like immediately reversing things. So I suppose, Nate, when it comes to the creative process of these books, the series, the arc so far, if I'm not mistaken, in the page, the first page of the book, the credits page, you're listed as producer, correct?
Yeah. That was somebody else did that, but yeah. I don't know what I do. I just show up and smile and ask people to pay for a comic book.
Fair. I mean, hey, you know what? That's a lot of getting a book made.
Yeah.
I guess what is a part of the creative process? How did you come into contact with the series? Um, what input have you had for it? Were you part of the art direction? Like, what what from you is in this?
So, David and I met probably 2006, and I was writing movie reviews for a publication here in the Valley, in the
Oh,
Phoenix
cool.
Valley, and it was going pretty good. And they said I could open up an indie section, so I reviewed one of David's movies called The Lonely Ones, which was fantastic. And I asked him if he had anything else, and he showed me Night of the Chihuahuas, which is actually a movie. He made the movie with $1,000 and 3 untrained Chihuahuas, and it was like oh so terribly awesome. It had a lot of heart, and I loved that about it. Like for how limited he was, what he made was so awesome. So we went on to make a movie together called Promise, that is on Amazon, I believe. And
Oh,
yeah, and after we got done with, I think it was that we talked about how fun it would be to make Night of the Chihuahuas into a graphic novel. And in 2011, excuse me one second, I'm gonna yell. Sorry about that. My son's playing Fortnite.
hey, no worries.
We in 2011 we tried to start a Kickstarter, and we raised about $2,000 out of 21,000, and that doesn't quite cover the cost to make a book, but we did pay for 30 pages to get done. So
Oh,
we
wow.
sat on it for about 10 years, and in 2021, one of my close friends said, "Why don't you do something with it?" So we broke it down into issues and started going on the campaign trail, and here we are. So
Yeah, I was gonna say 5 successful issues later. That's awesome. And I did want to confirm because I've pulled up the IMDb page. Is this the movie?
yeah, that's it.
I love it. That is an amazing poster.
So
Oh, please
oh,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
But David tried to pull every copy he could from everywhere because he didn't love it. And
Ah.
there is a small cult following, and I asked David if we could screen the movie, like a one night only screening at a movie theater. And he said it would be like pulling his pants down in public, but he would do it if it was beneficial for the project. So we're trying to put that together, but it all has to make sense finance wise. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But that would be so cool. Like my next question was gonna be, given that a movie exists, will there be a tier where someone can get a digital copy of the film? Perhaps if if you collect like a trade or whatever.
I don't
But it
think so.
sounds, yeah.
Yeah, he because it's the thing, if like one person watched it, but if they put it out on the internet, that's what he doesn't want. So he's like a little
Oh,
embarrassed by it, but I think, I mean, it is what it is. It was like his project, his final project for film school. He went to film school. He's also got an MFA in screenwriting,
oh
and
wow.
he I love it. I mean, I love it. It's I call it terrible, but in a loving way. So
Absolutely. Well, and I think there is a lot of, especially as we get older and we refine our creative abilities, when you look back at the first big thing you did, it's like, ooh, that hurts. But
yeah.
it, like you said, it is what it is. Like it's I don't know, it's this thing to be proud of, I think, especially if it has ended up in these books.
Well, I mean, the hope is one day that it will get picked up, you know, for a show or a TV show or animation or something. So, because I mean, he has like it's a big budget thing. It's filmed at night. There's a lot of special effects and gore, and to make it with $1,000 was very ambitious. So.
Oh. I can imagine doing like what I do beyond the show. When I do videography, I do video editing. I've made trailers for folks for their crowdfunders and Kickstarters. Just the time that takes, I can imagine to shoestring on $1,000 and get a film made. That's a talent. So kudos, absolutely. I guess, Nate, I do want to focus on the book because the film would be fun to talk about. But yeah, let's focus on the book. So,
all right.
As mentioned, it's already super successful. It's double or more now its goal, which is great. I guess I'll go a little bit early, but can we go through sort of the tiers so that if people want to get this campy Chihuahua horror comic, they know what it'll cost them, what they're going to get for it. And then, we can go from there.
Yeah. So there's a digital issue 5, and in the add-ons, there is a catch-up issues 1 through 4 for $8, which is, I don't know. Hopefully that's fair. Trying to get people caught up on things if they haven't already got the PDFs. And then we have our main cover by Sophia Cox. I have done a lot of the art direction. That's supposed to be like the House of the Dragon. So we call it Game of Bones. If you can see the shotguns on the floor.
Oh,
Iron
okay,
Throne.
yeah. That's good.
So there's that. Scroll down. There's
absolutely.
Oh, okay. Then it has all that. Oh, add-ons. Okay, cool.
Like I do see. Let me see if it keeps going. Add-ons for days. I love it. There we go.
So that's Ghostbiter, like Ghostwriter.
Yeah.
By Tina Michelle. She's out of Florida. We got that cover in metal, kind of on accident almost, and it looks really cool in metal. The flames like come to life in the light. It's awesome.
Now, like the cover is metal on the book, or is it like a poster?
No, it's printed on metal and then it's adhered to the front page. So you've never seen a metal cover before?
I don't think I have, to be honest.
Wow. I might have to send you one in your Christmas present or your birthday present. It has a very nice sheen, reflective surface to it, and it's like a hollow foil but better. But they are expensive to create.
Well, understandably, when you said metal, I'm like, my brain went hollow, but I'm like, no, that doesn't sound like what you're talking about.
No, it's a metal cover.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to kind of be like the fad right now. But it's, like we try to make stuff that's cool, but some people aren't really willing to pay. They just want the story. So it's kind of that mix up, who wants what, who's willing to pay.
Yeah.
This is a reference to Shepard Fairey. If you know Shepard Fairey, he did the Obey kind of propaganda posters. This is done by one of my very good friends, Tim Hahn, who's a part of a group called the Illuminaries. They paint large scale murals all over the world. And this was another idea of mine. I just have I feel like I have dumb ideas, and then I get together with people. I'm like, hey, can you make this? So it comes out kind of fun. And I think it turned out pretty well. A lot of people get the reference, and this is actually our highest selling t-shirt. So a lot of people.
So you could get that as a shirt.
Yep. So we try to do a lot of stuff, merch. We have toys, button stickers, posters, books. So we're trying.
Right on. Yeah, I was gonna say, under each of these, as I go down these tier levels, I'm seeing all these add-ons, and it's add-on physical issue 1, the Chining issue 2, Fifi. Is it Fifi or Fi-Fi?
Fifi.
Fifi, the dog. Yeah.
I think the artist, that's Albert Morales, and I think he was referencing Blade 3. There's a little dog and its jaws open.
Yeah, where it's
Yeah.
like the Pomeranian. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was the reference there.
And then you're wearing the shirt for the issue,
Yeah,
the cover of issue 3.
Yep, that was Albert, and Albert and I put that together. So a lot of fun, and it was trying to appeal to the Japanese market a little bit. There's not only do you know that the Japanese market for comic books is like 44% of the entire world is Japanese. I think it's like this. It's some outrageous number, like because Japan is like so small and it represents this huge amount for the world.
Now, because I believe it, my question is when it comes to that data, like you're counting like manga, however you want to say it, as comics, right?
I don't know. I read that statistic and it didn't elaborate too much, but I was kind of blown away that, I mean, I guess even if, that they consume so much of that. And I guess in Japan, Chihuahuas are very popular as well, but trying to like break into a whole area. I mean, because, Night of the Chihuahuas, it's, Chihuahuas come from Mexico. So like we're trying to actually translate into Spanish right now to open up to a different market. So
I dig it.
We're trying. I just want to keep saying we're trying because it's like I don't have the answers. I'm just like I feel like I'm like flailing in the dark. Like if I hit something, I'm like hooray! Like
well, you know what? I think that's a feeling that a lot of comic creators that are, especially when they're newer comic creators, obviously they feel it because they've never done it before. But even like yourself, where this is like the fifth one, if I'm not mistaken, for this series, not the issue, but the Kickstarter. I find even after like doing a number of these, like people get confident, they know what they're capable of, but they're still like, I don't know what's gonna like take, what's gonna hit. So hey, keep swinging. When stuff sticks, run with it. Good old Dan. A little while back now, my apologies for the delay, Dan mentioned he thought the cosplay tier is a great idea as well. That's awesome. So I guess because there are so many different cool options, like the foil cover, the set, perfect. So the single issue digital, so like the least expensive option someone's got for getting your book, the fifth issue anyways, the 7 Canadian, 5 US, correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. And then the set here, it's 40 US, 54 Canadian, and that's all 5 of them, the whole series.
Yeah, and we usually sell them at $10 a book, so we're trying to make it more accessible to people. When we started off, we didn't have much product to sell, so it was like we tried to, pump them out. And now that we have more product, we're trying to be, I mean, I don't know if it's unfair to the first fans, but, we're trying to make it more accessible to people and draw more of a fan base. So we're trying to find ways to reward people that have been on board since the beginning. So we have ideas in mind because there's a couple books that we pulled the covers completely, and it's like we're trying to find a way that if you have that book, you get a special reward. But I don't want people to try and cheat the system either. So here, you want me to show you the cover?
Yeah, sure. Here, let me. I'll pull it down.
Keep talking real quick. I'm going to try to find this.
For sure. Well,
so I can get to it quickly.
Yeah, I'll bring this back up because one thing that I loved, and I continue to love, and I think you guys are doing a bang up job with, is sort of the references to these movie posters. So the first one you're referencing The Shining, the third one, which you're wearing on the shirt, which is so cool. Obviously Godzilla. The one for Jaws is a big fan of, I suppose you could say. I'm a fan. I enjoyed the film.
It's our biggest seller, but I don't know. It feels everybody's done it, so it's like and I think the thing with Chihuahuas is they're so small and cute. It's like hilarious to see a Chihuahua Godzilla. So it's But do you know what the fourth cover is?
The fourth one, if I'm not mistaken, that is a clicker from Last of Us.
Yes.
which I thought was cool. So I haven't played the games, but I've seen enough clips and scenes and
Yeah.
things from the games. I've checked out the show, but yeah, I thought that was done so well. And then yeah, the final cover here being the sort of Daenerys reference or not Daenerys, but the House of Dragons reference. I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah.
As a small request,
Mhm.
just a tiny request for a future movie reference cover. If you
Okay.
could find a way to do the Predator, that would be cool too.
I like it. I'm gonna write it down real quick. Hold on.
Oh, please do. Yes.
There's a couple ideas that we have already for the second series.
Oh, good.
I mean, even one of them is Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So we're digging deep. It's funny because when we came into this, we didn't know anyone, and it was really hard to meet people, and people were unsure of us, and now we've got people, wanting to work with us, to the point where people are like, yeah, I'll do a cover for the second series. And I'm like, it's not even like on paper. I mean, the script is done, but it's not like we haven't, like, oh, I'll just do it. You guys can have it. And I'm like, okay, like, cool.
That's awesome.
No, I mean, it's kind of rewarding because it's like, I think we put forward like a really solid front and we try to approach it like a real business. And I think people appreciate that. Like I've personally marched into 30 plus stores and gotten our books into the stores. We're in 50 stores across the US and Canada. Just from walking in, and 50 is not a lot. There's 2,000 stores. Yep. And I would like to do more, but as we're doing this on our own, you just do what you can.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Mark Bernal from Lesser Known Comics told me if you do like 65-70%, at least you're skimming by, you're passing. Like, all right, cool.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, the fact that you're in 50 stores, that's huge.
Yeah.
I've known indie comics creators that if they get their book into one store, maybe 2 or 3, they're like, it's gold. They're happy. To be in 50 is amazing. I'm curious, and you don't have to say, during the interview, feel free to say pass. One of our local stores, so shout out to the Sidekick Comics downtown Toronto, amazing shop. Chris, who runs it, is the best. Chris, when indie comics creators come in and talk to Chris about having their books in the store, Chris will not do consignment. Chris is like, what's the flat rate? I'll just buy the books and sell them on my own. You don't have to worry about it. You get the money. Let me handle that. Are you lucky enough some of those stores they've bought them, or are they mostly on consignment? Like, how does that work when you're
most of
out
them
there
buy
hogging?
them. Most of them buy them.
Oh, awesome.
Once they see them, it's the whole thing, because it's like when I walk in and I can talk to someone and I put the book in their hands, they're like, this is cool. Like, they laugh. And we went to Hawaii for a family reunion, and the first shop I went into is the biggest shop out there. And we happened to run into Eric. What's up, Eric? He's the buyer. And he bought everything we had. He's like, this is amazing. And they've reordered a few times. A lot of the shops reorder. And the thing I have a trouble with is that it's like, as an indie creator, you want your name out there and, your product out there. And it's like, if I stay in the Phoenix Valley, it will get saturated very quick. So, like, how can I reach beyond that? During Free Comic Book Day last year, we had 4 locations, 1 in Michigan, 1 in Sacramento, and 2 in Phoenix. And it's like, I'm trying through different means to like ask favors and get people involved. And we're having a lot of fun. And that's how we're able to kind of branch out. Cause I would like to, I don't want to sound arrogant, but it's like, I would like to be known in a bigger fashion. I don't want to limit myself to one area. And it's I'm hoping, we've joined lesser known comics, and I don't fully understand all of it. But the guys and gals are awesome, and I'm hoping that we can all work together to support and kind of propagate outward, because there's a lot of awesome creators, there's a lot of awesome books and artists, and it's fun, and it feels almost unfair that you can't, I've gone to shops at different places and they say, well, we only support local. Only support local artists. So that was in Las Vegas, the biggest shop, not the biggest shop, I don't know that. A big shop that has multiple locations. The guy said,
Oh.
nobody's going to buy your stuff here. We only support local artists. I went to the other shops and they all bought my books. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say really quick. It's interesting because I understand that mentality though. Because like the whole premise of my show, right, was originally intent on promoting Canadian indie comic artists, right? Which you very much are not Canadian. You're a friend from the South, and for a while, like I had people from the States asking me, "Hey, can we come on your show to talk comics?" And I was like, I don't know, because like that's not what I'm about. But at the same time, you know what? If I can help indie creators, let's do it. And when I can, I'll highlight Canadian ones. So I get it. But at the same time, I think to limit it to like, oh, we only want like, in that case, local Las Vegas creators. It's like, well, it's still indie. Like you're not with Image, with Marvel, with DC. It's like you're doing this yourself. So I don't know. It's a hard thing, but.
Can I show you something real quick?
Yeah, please do. Go for it.
Let me see if I can make this share screen. Oh.
And then whatever tab you're in, you'll want to hit share this tab if you're on like a browser.
I don't want the tab. I wanted my Photoshop. Did that work?
Oh, it will work. Bear
with
me.
Here, window.
There you go.
Oh, it's not letting me do it. I wanted to show. How can I do this? There's an artist from Toronto that we just finished working with named Jeff Monk. Have you ever heard of Jeff Monk?
I haven't, but now he is on my list.
Monk Illustration. Maybe you should, if you can pull up his Instagram. Jeff is a Spawn guy through and through. Before Spawnuary, he is a Spawn fanatic. Like to the core. And he did a cover for us, and I was going to show you the cover. But that's one of the fun things too, is working with people from all over the place. One of the LKC guys is Doug Knight. I believe he's from Toronto as well.
He lives about 20 minutes from me.
Nice. So it's fun to branch out, because you get to meet all these awesome people from all over the place. Max Flowers is LKC. He's up in Alaska. And
cool.
He's editing a project right now and also going to illustrate another project. And this is kind of environment that I was looking for, and I'm really happy to be a part of working with lesser known comics. But yeah, I mean, you get to work with people from all over the place. Did you find his stuff?
I did. Let me know if. Yeah, is this the one you had in mind? This drawing here?
That's part of it.
There's more. Okay.
I'm trying
like
to think
you said, very much a Spawn guy. If it's not going, like when you're trying to do the window, there's if you want to go follow Jeff Monk. If it's not letting you do the window, you could do your whole screen and just put Photoshop to be the big banner over everything, and then just share the whole screen.
Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen.
Interesting. You could, if you're comfortable with it, you could send me the file and I could pop it up.
Yeah, let's do that.
As long as that works. Okay, don't get yourself in trouble, nothing like that.
Well, I'll just send you one of them right now.
Sure. How are you going to send it to me?
Which way do you think is the best way?
You know what? I happen to have Instagram open. So if you want to pop it in Instagram, I can share that pretty easy.
Okay. But just getting back to it, it's like upload failed. Why?
Might be too big.
Yeah, I'm gonna email it.
Okay.
Being able to work with people from around the world, really. On our Fifi cover, the person that did the coloring was from, I think, Thailand.
Oh, cool.
So, why is it so stressful?
It's all good. No worries.
Yeah, so like working with Jeff, I was really kind of scared almost because I really am a big fan of his work, and oh my god, it's a big file.
They can be, yeah.
Don't go reproducing this anywhere. But I had total FOMO with this guy because he's busy, and he's good, and we got going on it, and he did the pencils and the inks overnight. I was blown away. And then the price he gave us was amazing. And he's like, I want this colorist named, I think it's Lee, Leigh. It's a female. I think Lay or Lee, but she did it took her a little while to do the coloring, but the coloring is fantastic as well. Did you get it?
Doggo. Holy cow. Okay, hold on. Let me
I'm gonna move to my office if that's okay.
Sure. How am I gonna best share this? Okay, cool, that'll do. Because this is a cover. Holy moly.
That's for our trade paperback.
Oh my god. So that's a cover. And that was done by Jeff Monk, yeah?
Yeah, so Jeff and then his colorist, and yeah, there's actually two other options, but I think this is what we're gonna go with. And Jeff, thank you, great job. He handed in everything on time. He was really easy to work with. I just had this fear of like he's gonna pull out or he's gonna because and then he started and then Tom McFarlane announced Spawnuary, and I'm like, this guy is gonna disappear. He's gonna totally ghost me because that's like his thing. Like Spawn is his thing, and but I think he killed it on this cover. And what's really cool is my friend's son, who is 20 now, not 2020 but 20. He got this tattooed on his arm. So the moon is right here. Hold on, is that right? The moon is right here, the dog.
Yeah.
And then it wraps around, the skulls wrap around his arm, like back here.
That is so cool. I mean,
that's a great promo.
Absolutely. And I mean, that is a hell of a cover. I know for a fact that anyone walks into a comic shop anywhere and sees that, they're going to immediately, if nothing else, they will stare at it for a while, admire it. They probably pick it up and flip through. And at that point, they flip through, they go, you know what? This is a really cool looking book. They buy it, easy peasy. Yeah, that's a cover. Holy moly.
We're gonna do the trade later this year. I did FOMO out and jump the gun on getting the cover done, but I'm really happy I did. But yeah, I kind of want to plug a couple other things.
Sure.
This is Killer Hair. This is a story that I wrote about a woman whose hair gets possessed and killing people. That artwork is by Mayra Hernandez. She's totally new to the scene. I think she's pretty talented, and gotta encourage her to keep going.
What was her first name?
Mayra, Mayra.
Mayra.
And then it's
Hernandez, right?
Hernandez 6. This is the cover to her book.
All
It's
right,
called Love is Strange.
Quick shout out for her. We'll give her a follow. Let's pop a couple quick likes on there.
That she just finished that last night. The first one you did.
That one?
That's her Gunslinger's one. It's pretty clean, right?
Extremely. I love these designs.
Yeah. She's wanting to break out into comic books, and I think she has the talent. So I'm just trying to support her and get her going.
Absolutely. Well, if you're watching this now or in the future, Myra_comics_Hernandez 6. Go give her a follow. Wicked art, wicked books. Yeah, totally awesome.
That's some of the things we have on the horizon. That this is just a preview, so it's an 8-page preview. I actually took a class from the guy that did the Last of Us cover. He worked for Todd McFarlane. He's kind of a 20-year industry pro, and I was like, I want to learn. So I went to his class, and part of our class was to make a 8-page comic. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna take Killer Hair and make it a comic.
Right on.
Yeah,
that is so cool. Now, again, we're here to talk about Night of the Chihuahua or Night of the Chihuahuas. It's all good. No, you know what? I love the shout outs because we got to do them because so many people are involved in making these books. It's not very infrequently is a comic made by one person solely. So shout out all day long. Now, 5 months ago, when I had the last podcast or show, I should say, about Night of the Chihuahuas, I had to ask this because it seems so pertinent. Nate, what is your experience with Chihuahuas, to dogs in general, I guess, but specifically, what is your life experience with that breed of dog been?
I'm not too big on Chihuahuas. I've had dogs most of my life. My wife does not like dogs, so we do not have dogs.
Yep.
But I mean, Chihuahuas are pretty vicious. They can also be funny. But David's the one with the background. If you remember, his Nana gave him the Chihuahua, and it's really fun going out and hearing all these stories. People show up and show you their dog, and we have sketch covers, and we've even had people do cats on our sketch cover. It's all in good fun. So I still love dogs. Our neighbors have a German and a Chihuahua, and
that's a contrast.
Yeah, it is. And the Chihuahua will come after you faster than the German. But
I mean, that sounds right, though. Now, Nate, you were mentioning like people coming up and doing like sketch drawings of, like, say, their cats or their Chihuahuas. Have you had the chance to go to cons and stuff with Night of the Chihuahuas? Oh
yeah, we've been to tons of cons. I think we went to at least 2 cons every month last year.
Oh my god!
We found out that big cons don't always equal big results. So part of what we're doing this year is scaling back and trying to target, we're guests at some Comic Cons, which saves money. But we have an exclusive signing next weekend in Tucson. Then we have Tempe Fan Con, then DreadCon. We're trying to line it up this year much more focused. But it's the cons are fun. They get a little overwhelming for me because you're trying to make eye contact with like hundreds and thousands of people. Like you have like 2 seconds, right, where they walk by and you're like,
and you're like
a horror comedy about killer Chihuahuas, and they laugh and they walk away. But you have to keep doing that, and I get honestly, I think I get dizzy.
You know what? It's work. Like, that is a lot of work. Now, do me a favor. So if anyone's watching in the area, like I said, now or the next 6 days, not quite 6, we're on Monday, next 4 days, and they want to come see you. The con the next con you have, which is next weekend. Which one is it?
It's actually it's a store exclusive. The first exclusive that a store did with us. They did
Oh,
a cover of The Exorcist. It's an Exorcist homage, and we're going down there. Or David, the author, is going down there to do a signing, and he'll be down at Presidio Comics in Tucson, and the following weekend is a library con here in Tempe. And if you didn't know, Arizona is amazing in the wintertime, like amazing.
now when you say amazing, are you meaning like nice and hot, or like it's just not
No,
cold?
well, because you guys are getting whooped up there right now, right?
I mean, it is currently negative 10.5 degrees, here. So yeah.
I went to an outdoor con, or it was called Superhero Saturday, put on by the
Okay.
Phoenix Police Department on Saturday. It was 66 degrees, warm with a cool breeze, an outdoor event. There was probably 200 to 300 people there. There was a live wrestling. They had a wrestling ring
Oh,
arena,
that's cool.
and it was a great day. And I met with someone, and he's from back east, and he's like, "I love it here right now." So if you in the future, Conrad, if you want to get a second home here, and you want to just come down here during the winter, they call them
Yeah.
snowbirds.
Yep. Oh, you know what? We talking about snowbirds. I don't know if it's ageist or not, but in where I live in our area, we live right on the border between Canada and Buffalo.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I got in a car now and drove for about 2 hours, I'd be there.
Okay.
Very, very quickly, very easily, a lot of us here will look at, especially older folks who have, retired stuff. They've put in their 40, 50, 60 years of work, whatever.
Yeah.
And depending on how well they're dressed, how they're dressed, and the time of year, you're like, snowbird, snowbird, snowbird. You can just see it.
Yeah.
Now, real quick shout out so that people could see you. If I'm not mistaken, this is the comic shop, correct? That you're going to,
Yeah,
or
Presidio
that,
Comics.
yeah. And I'm just trying to find. Whoop, there it is. There is the address. So that's 4500 North Oracle Road. And will that be on the Saturday or the Sunday, to your knowledge?
Saturday from about 11:30, 12 o'clock to 4 p.m. There's a limited amount of these books. I don't know if you want to pull up our Instagram page. I could show the cover. I had one
Sure.
here, but I put all the books in a box to go down there. So
Yeah.
it's limited to 100 copies, and it was just really cool because they saw our stuff and they were so kind. They said, "We'd like to do an exclusive cover with you." And I was like, I really wanted that to happen, but like and they made it very easy, so it was really great. If you scroll down
good.
a little bit, scroll down.
This is
In
the metal one.
Yeah, that's the metal one. If you want to see that.
Also, Timothy Lee. Hey.
Hey, Timothy, what's up, man? So I don't know if that really does it justice, but that's
cool.
And right below it is that's
Here we go. Oh, that's cool.
So that's the character Johnny, and in the Exorcist poster, it has the light coming out from the window, and then it has the priest holding his briefcase. So this was done by Max Flowers from LKC, Rat Brain Zine, and he busted this out overnight. And we have a really cool time lapse of this as well.
That's super cool. I love those time lapses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. You guys are killing it. Keep on going.
We're trying. It's little by little. So
awesome. And then the next one, is this the one you're talking about? The Temp Fan Con?
Yep. Tempe Fan Con. So we're going to be out there. One day event. It's outside. Last year it was amazing weather. Hoping it's the same way this year. Scooby-Doo escape room.
That's cool.
But, it's funny. a lot of these library events, they're one day. They're actually pretty good. They are. You don't have the stress of a 3-day event.
Okay.
You get people to come out. And we found a lot of success in just like smaller 1-day events. We've had amazing days, amazing weekends at big cons, but we've also come out of cons not breaking even on some of these big ones.
Yeah, like that was one thing that when again, for the folks out there who have not been following me for very long, which is totally fair. I've been doing this for about 5 years. And one of my very first interviews I ever did was with a group called Group of Seven Comics. Chris Sanigan and Jason Lapis, they make amazing comics that are historical fiction around like Canadian characters, Canadian historical figures. But I've gotten to talking with them, over the last 5 years. And yeah, one of the things that they mentioned was like sometimes if you pay the tabling cost for in our neck of the woods, Fan Expo Canada, which is the big one, or like Toronto Comic Con, it can be a lot of cost up front, and because of the sheer amount of people there, yeah, I definitely think that, like you were saying earlier, a lot of people might walk by your table, go, cool, and keep going. So I guess my personal opinion, and Nate, please feel free to chime in on this one, but in my opinion, if you're starting out as an indie creator, I would say focus on smaller events, library events, anything like a CAF, TCAF, Toronto Comic Arts Festival, MCAF, Montreal Comic Arts Festival. Yeah. I imagine there is a ACAF, Arizona Comic Arts Festival.
It just started last year. And it's a great event. It's a great event.
Perfect. But yeah, like would you agree sort of that when starting out, the smaller ones tend to be a little more, I don't want to say lucrative, but I mean, it's a part of the business.
Yeah. They're just consistent is what I would say. Like we had one show last year that was astronomically big. We were like through the roof. We're like, this is the hit. We want this all the time. And we had 3 or 4 more shows that were good, but two of them didn't break even. One broke even, but then you've got all these costs that you incur when we send people out, we pay for their food, we pay for their gas, we pay for their lodging. We try to really take care of people, and I don't want to be bitter and say like, oh, like I would make more money if I didn't have to pay for that. Truth of the matter is I would make more money, but it's like you want to keep people happy. So, doing some of these shows, we went to Detroit for Motor City Con, and it was a great show. And the flight and the hotel and all that stuff, it just ate away at the reality. That's what I'm saying, trying to get out of your area, go to other markets. People never heard of you, like, oh, this is cool, like I like this. You gain new fans. Sorry.
No, not at all. An odd one, a thought I've had, like you said, sort of getting out of your market, and maybe it would be not right or they wouldn't want it, but my brain for some reason immediately goes to like, what about like local veterinarians, dog pounds, stuff like that. Like I appreciate also like they might not want to propagate the stereotype of like horrible monster dogs, but like I don't know, I think of stuff like that, and I find a lot of dog owners, I find that we're up for like fun stories like these are very campy horror comics. Like it almost in a way reminds me of like the slasher flicks from the 80s, which very clearly are an inspiration.
Yeah. Well, sorry. David wrote a kid's story, because a lot of people come to our table and they're like, oh, we want to buy this for our kids. And like, it's not a kid's story. So David wrote a small comic about a Chihuahua who guards his family or her family from an evil demon. So the dog barks, but nobody knows why the dog's barking. Really cool story. So we're going to be putting that out, and we've been in touch with the local children's hospital. But like I my brain works like in weird ways with like marketing and cross promotion. We don't do veterinarians. We haven't done that yet. We could, but one cool thing is El Paso. If you know Brandon Blocksdorf from Apollo City Comics, I don't know if you've interviewed him.
Yes.
He's from El Paso, and the El Paso Chihuahuas, their minor league baseball team, is down there, and we're trying to seal the deal on a cross promotion with them. And
That'd be cool.
it's I don't know if it's going to work. We put a lot of effort into it, but I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. If you need to get water, feel free.
Oh, I forgot to bring it with me. Yeah, we're just whatever way we can to try to make it happen. We're trying. So the El Paso Chihuahuas. I don't know if you want to pull up another thing on Instagram.
Sure.
Called the Illuminaries. This is plugging everybody. This is my friend Tim and his crew. I'm kind of unofficially a part of the crew, but they do these large scale murals. And
what is the at? Because the Illuminaries pulls up like Illuminati, and I'm like, that's not the same thing.
It's ILLUMIN Aries.
God,
we're trying to paint a 15-story building in El Paso. You'll see. That's why I was going to ask you to pull up the artwork, because you'll see the size of the work that they do. Like that top one in the middle. That's for the Oakland A's. It's 90 feet tall by 90 feet wide. That's the Oakland A's Stomper, their mascot, and they reimagined it because
I love it.
It's a war elephant, and they tried to make it kind of fresh and new. So that's them with Steph Curry. They've done a lot of work with Steph Curry from the Golden State Warriors. They've done a lot of stuff for the Golden State Warriors, but they're very talented artists, and it's kind of fun because this is, for me, I grew up doing graffiti and stuff like that. So a lot of the art ties back into comic books because it's, I don't know, to me it makes sense. Visually, graffiti artists come up with some pretty awesome stuff. So
yeah, that's so cool. I would love to see what they come up with for you.
Yeah.
That is sick. Well, you know what? We are at 90 or not 90, 53 minutes. We're nearing the end of the interview. We got about 5 minutes till 8 p.m. EST. I appreciate for you. I think it's like 6. So I typically trying to end my interviews on the same 2 questions. So I guess we'll start with Nate. What is it lately that you've been reading, whether it's comics, books, audiobooks? I appreciate not reading, but that's sort of been keeping you happy. Oh, he can reach for it. I love it.
This is my favorite thing this year, probably, or last year. This guy's name is Ian Cinco. He's from New York. I'm not a political person, but this definitely has some political aspects to it. But I picked it up and I could not stop reading it. Like literally from the first panel, I was just trying to glimpse at it and I couldn't put it down. And then I will share The War of Art. This is a book I'm reading. It talks about resistance and how, as a creator, resistance comes at you and how to work with it, work around it, work through it, and to continue. So it sounds nice to talk about it, but the actual application, I'm sure everybody knows, is not so easy. So we try to set off on any endeavor, and it's hard.
Yeah, and when you're talking about resistance, that's like you being able to get your art out, I'm assuming, like whatever is stopping you from getting a script to a page, pencil to make art. Okay, cool. Nice. I dig it. And then Nate, my last simple, easy question for you. Well, you know what? First, quick recap.
Oh, yeah. Plug play the Kickstarter again.
Yeah. Kickstarter Night of the Chihuahuas 1 to 5. Boom. Again, it's already double its goal. You've actually got a new backer since we started. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because of your show.
Why, thank you. If I can take credit for even one, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely, folks out there, you know what? I will put the link right in the comments. It is in the video description, but it never hurts. So link is in the comments below. Click it, subscribe, or not subscribe, back it, pick a tier. If you haven't read all of it yet, there's a tier for that. If you've read everything up to the current issue, the new issue is 5 American, 7 Canadian for digital. Minimal buy-in, just as much as a comic you might get off your local comic shop, and it's a hell of a book. So Nate, my last question for you, because we've talked about a whole bunch of really cool people, so I feel like you should be easy.
It went way off topic.
No, it's all good, but it'll feed into this. Who do you think I should have on my show next?
Is it open to all comic book?
Yeah, as long as they make comics, ideally indie. Although if you're like, hey, have Greg Capullo on, I'd love to. I'd try, but yeah, ideally an indie comic creator. Go for it.
I would say Ian Cinco.
Okay.
There's a local creator named Sophia Cox who did the Game of Bones cover, and there's also a guy named Austin Ackert who is a local guy, and he's fantastic. I love that guy. I wish he would go on more podcasts, so I'm going to put him on the spot.
Perfect. Austin Ackert, Ackert.
Yep.
The art of
he's got a unique style, but he has I like things that are original and quirky. And I mean, like, you can take everything's been done under the sun, right? So if you take, like, Killer Hair, to me is Rapunzel meets Venom. I tried to take things and twist them a little bit, but Austin's he has a story named Carmine Sunshine. It's about a vampire that gets kidnapped by aliens, and I was just thinking, like, it's just something different, right?
Yeah.
So he's done. He's I think he's just got done with 2 anthologies, and he's a great guy.
Right on. I will reach out. Yeah, his style is definitely super unique. It pops, which is so cool. I will reach out. Thank you so much, Nate.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you want to look at Sophia Cox too, if you got a second. For
that, is it SOF or PH?
PH.
Is this the correct one?
Yes, that's her. She's good at drawing pretty girls.
I mean,
hey, women.
That'll take you
women.
very far.
I shouldn't say girls. I'm learning. But
nice.
Like, I saw that was the first piece of art I saw done by her, and I'm not big on that stuff, but I almost bought it.
No, that's really good.
And she's doing the interiors for Killer Hair. That's one of the pages for Killer Hair, but this is I don't know if you can see.
Cool.
She's doing the interiors. Oh yeah, I want Killer Hair. Yep. That's our it's Killer Hair is a private party right now.
Oh, that's cool. When it's
not.
So that's so cool. I love when you get to see the a lot of comic art for those out there, and there's nothing wrong with this at all, but a lot of people a lot of comic artists nowadays are doing digital because, especially if they're younger, they've grown up in a more technological era, Wacoms, iPads with the pencils, and that's awesome, right? Like, the easier it is to make a comic, great. More cool comics will get made. I'm happy. But getting to see someone who's using what looks like Copic markers, I'm not sure if it's oil paint, but whatever they're fusing, that's a sick process for your cover for issue 5.
Yeah, she does both, and she's extremely talented. She's a little shy, but I think if you get her on, bust her out, she's fun. She's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's just like, this is fun to me, like meeting people. And a lot of what I want to do is work with people that want to have fun together, because it's like, if we create things together that are fun, it's like it creates a great atmosphere.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to find those relationships. We've been at this for 2 years, and we want to foster those relationships that create a positive working environment. So
Hell yeah. I love it, Nate. And you know what? With that, you've reached the end of the interview. So breathe easy. I want to say absolutely, Nate, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show
Thank
today,
you.
man.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Obviously, as mentioned before, folks, please, the link is in the comments, but also in the description of the video. Find Night of the Chihuahuas 1 through 5 on Kickstarter. Back it. Help Nate finish this arc off. Actually, I should say get in on it while you can, because it's already double its backing goal. And then look for what
we are pulling certain covers that won't be around anymore. So Fifi will not be around. Chihuahua Smalls will not be around. And these, I don't know if it'll make them collectible or not, but it's we're trying to streamline the whole thing. So when we first came in, someone told us, make as many variants as you can. Well, it's cool, but it also spends a lot of money, and if people aren't buying it, then
Yes. No, you know what? Chasing it is true. The variants do help. But yeah, with that, Nate, I bid you adieu.
Right on. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Golden age to present, digest to oversize. Never miss new comic day. Yeah, no surprise. So where's my no prize? Check the letter columns. Can't find issue 2.